Hello and welcome to our physical activity, nutrition and health presentation. In this presentation will be myself, Amir Adhani.
And I'm Curtis Robinson.
My name is Miguel Hinera.
The health outcome we're going to be examining is the outcome of weight loss. We'll also be exploring this concept to the effects of physical activity as well as dietary behaviors and guidelines.
Weight gain can be caused by several factors that can be under someone's control and not under someone's control. Some things under the person's control is excess food and a lack of physical activity. But things not under their control is insufficient education while they were younger on healthy weight or their hormone imbalances due to hereditary causes. When considering factors under an individual's control, according to Blair, an overabundance of food access results in an increased body mass index and prevalence of obesity.
Now, individuals not in a healthy BMI range increase their risk of developing multiple chronic diseases. According to Dixon, type 2 diabetes, CVD diseases, and higher levels of stress are often associated with increased levels of weight gain. With that, increasing the number of years of life lost. Now, based on these findings, being in an unhealthy BMI range has a detrimental impact on both mental and physical health, affecting quality of life that accumulates direct and indirect determinants. Now, this growing epidemic of obesity is a cause for concern, putting stress on the community's health services, facilities, and also the health workers. Ahima and Lazar mentioned that despite clear evidence that being in a state of obesity has severe consequences, social groups are still reluctant to change their diet and exercise routines.
Now, lastly, physical activity can be used to supplement healthy weight loss. Weight loss through means of consistent, vigorous exercise and a stringent diet regimen seems to be an effective prevention to all health outcomes and obesity-related comorbidity. Now, the health benefits of consistent engagement in physical activity is irrefutable. According to Warburton, evidence shows that physical activity plays a major role as a preventative measure to chronic disease and premature death. Warburton also notes that both males and females who reported higher levels of physical activity were eventually found to have a decrease in their relative risk of death by 20 to 35%.
In this video, we'll be outlining an intervention for an 8-week program introduced to young males. We'll also be talking about measurement tools used to access outcomes and anticipated health and wellbeing outcomes. Our intervention is called Drop It Like It's Hot.
The next segment I'll be explaining is a description of the chosen intervention program. The purpose of the 8-week program is to increase the knowledge and education on both physical activity and nutritional guidelines, as well as to reduce weight and overweight clients. The program also aims to extend this knowledge past the 8 weeks and allow clients to retain their knowledge for self-implementation. The program is focused on young adults of both male and female sexes who have expressed a concern of the lack of education in the field of nutrition and physical activity. The 8-week agenda will consist of 2 60-minute sessions, the first being an educational or learning session and the second being a practical session, where clients will be taught ways for effective physical activity, specifically in the gym, while putting them into practice. For the first week in the educational session, participants will be given a welcoming gift, including a modified fitness diary, an email of healthy food recipes, and an educational brochure on governmental guidelines of diet and physical activity. Clients will also be given an introductory presentation on what does it actually mean to be healthy. A few baseline measurements will also be taken. These measurements will include: number 1, a weight measurement using a scale in the early morning. No food will be allowed to consume the night before after 8 o'clock, which is to reduce any water weight errors or other food errors. And number 2, the waist measurement of the participants. Following the educational session, clients will be in a gymnasium and will be introduced to several physical activity variations. These will include weight training, cardiovascular training, stretching, and a tour around the gym. This session will mainly focus on... In the second week of the educational session, the group will be introduced to the concept of macronutrients. Clients will learn about the basic uses of protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And the reason that clients will be learning this is actually because the nutritionist who is undertaking the program will be going through a group-made diet program in the upcoming week, hence allowing the clients to understand the concepts of a calorie. During the practical session, an experienced personal trainer will be introduced and given the task of training the group for the rest of the 7 weeks. During the second session, however, clients will undertake light to moderate cardiovascular exercise, guided by the personal. In the third week of the 60-minute educational session, clients will create individualized healthy diets for themselves under the guidance of the nutritionist. This is a client-based approach in order for a high level of intrinsic motivation to be demonstrated throughout the rest of the program. Clients will be asked to record their weight as explained in the first week. During the practical session, the personal trainer will perform a 60-minute bout of light to moderate cardiovascular exercise, similar to the previous session. However, in this week, clients will wear ankle weights. The amount of weight that each client wears will be decided by them to promote autonomy and effort. The fourth week educational session will provide an opportunity for clients to explain their progress. During the session, clients will gather in a circle form with a dumbbell being passed around the class to each student to explain what they felt during the weeks. This may include things such as what they found hard or difficult and ways to overcome them. Clients will be allowed to skip their turn, however they are highly encouraged to explain what they felt. Following this, the nutritionist will begin the concept of different ways to track weight loss, beginning with calorie counting. In the practical session, the personal trainer will move on to moderate to heavy training, incorporating the use of free weights and barbells, unlike the previous weeks. Exercises such as light deadlifts and squats will be explained in the session holistically for the first 20 minutes, with the next 40 minutes being a group training session. Stations will be allocated with a rotation of every 4 sets per exercise. By the 5th week, clients would have obtained a decent understanding of what it means to be holistically healthy, as well as holistically lose weight in various forms. The session will repeat the previous session's inclusion of client feedback to the class. By doing so repeatedly, the class members will feel the urge to stick to the regime due to the external motivation of other individuals in the same boat. The education session will also have the learning of scientific principles, underlying the removal of fat through diet and exercise taught by the nutritionist. Included in the session will be a brief explanation of how the body uses energy to suffice various energy needs, such as exercise. Allowing the client to visualize the fat loss process will serve as a form of knowledge empowerment. The practical will be a straightforward practical, aiming to effectively utilize the knowledge captured in the previous weeks. Participants will be trained for the whole 60 minutes under the guidance of the personal trainer. The class will be stopped for a short period of time if a question is asked by one of the classmates to benefit from the answer. The 6th and 7th educational classes will repeat the process of the group discussion of the progress made of participants. As the program is soon to end, the nutritionist will bring 10 different snack boxes, some healthy and some unhealthy. These boxes will be at different stations in the classroom. Participants will be asked to answer questions related to each box with a discussion during the end. This translates to real-world application of dietary knowledge which will serve as a benefit post-program. Both weeks' practical sessions will focus on vigorous physical activity, mainly using weightlifting. Weightlifting was chosen as participants will have gained a decent understanding of different form and techniques which will minimize risk of injury. The 8th and final week will serve as a goodbye session, aiming to instill the knowledge learned in the past 7 weeks into the participants. They will be giving parting gifts, including shaker bottles with participant names included on each bottle. The practical session will also serve as a goodbye session, aiming to instill practical knowledge into the participants. Instead of a vigorous training routine, the personal trainer will ask clients to buddy up and train each other for 60 minutes until the end of the
The
session.
program will focus on 3 main progress measures for weight loss and increased physical activity. However, I'll also touch on another measurement that could be employed if we had unlimited money or the help of an organisation willing to sponsor our program or the backing of the government body. Our main measurement tool will be waist circumference. This will be taken at the start and the end by one of the professionals overseeing our program. It will also be taken weekly by participants. To do this, each participant will be given a measuring tape to measure their waist circumference. This will be recorded in a booklet supplied by us. This is done because waist circumference has been shown as one of the best indicators of central adiposity, which could be directly linked with cardiovascular disease. So this could be a good tool for our participants. Next tool we will utilise is one of them that most participants will see as the easiest way to measure their progress throughout our program. This would be as easy as stepping on the scales and seeing whether their weight has gone down or adversely gone up. Participants without a greater understanding of health may see this as the only way to measure their progress, which we also know is not true. Weight measurement can be seen as an accurate measure of our program, as the main outcome we are measuring is weight loss. This has been seen to be an accurate reading and could be linked with better health outcomes. This will be done every week at the start and the end again by one of the professionals overseeing the program, but weekly by the participants filling out their booklet. The final tool we will utilise is the use of pedometers. This is a basic way to measure physical activity and walking. Although it has been shown that steps only have a modest impact on someone's weight loss, if participants have a baseline at the start, they'll be able to see how much they can improve over the time. Now let's dream for a second here that we have unlimited money, the backing of a big organisation with sponsorship, or the backing by a government body. To measure physical activity levels, we would be able to supply all participants with activity bands or watches like Fitbits or Apple Watches, Samsung Watches, Garmin's, the list goes on, to measure their physical activity levels. If we got to supply all these, we could get live data back to our coaches, back to the professionals to be able to manage this. And then when we do our weekly courses, we'll be able to target specific things due to the data we've received throughout the whole program.
Hey guys, now what we aim to achieve through doing this program is weight loss, therefore producing better health outcomes, such as decreased chances of CVD-related illnesses and an overall improvement in quality of life. Now, substantial data argues that being physically sedentary triggers a whole array of CVD-related diseases, along with an excess amount of calorie consumption. This data is further supported by tests displaying results that indicate performing regular exercise improve biological triggers that are in causal pathways for chronic diseases. Based on test results from RAINA, individuals who increased their physical activity levels lost weight and reported higher levels of energy and productivity. According to Pinedo, multiple studies indicate that moderate physical activity not only decreased the chances of acquiring selected cardiovascular diseases, but these benefits also extend to psychological health, leading to lower cases of symptoms of depression and anxiety. Pinedo also states that studies have gauged the extent to which physical activity can also provide a buffer to age-related cognitive declines. In conclusion, continuous literature support the idea that exercise is associated with both physical, mental health benefits among selected illnesses and target groups. Now, according to a study conducted by the U.S. Center of Disease Control and the National Institute of Health, there are levels of intervention strategies that determine how much physical activity is enough to prevent an unhealthy weight gain. The table below shows the level of intervention needed for those different BMI ranges. Now, one of the main dietary concepts of our program emphasizes on minimizing or avoiding foods that contain high sugar, trans fat, and saturated fats. Diet, which is also one of the few things individuals, us, have certain control of, plays a major role in regards to altering body mass index. According to Pigwan, diet, which is associated with several different health outcomes, has the ability to change physical activity patterns and energy levels, therefore increasing the potential to improve health. Weight loss programs typically incorporate reduced sugar and fat intake. Vermont mentions that a lipidium diet that consists of complex carbohydrates resulted in lower energy consumption in comparison to high sugar foods. This reflected in a lower body weight to those who ate complex carbs instead of their simple sugar counterparts. This suggests that replacing pure sugar with very low energy sweeteners or complex carbs naturally resulted in lower energy intake and reduced body fat content. Now, a wide range of studies have shown that low-fat diet is successful in weight loss for overweight or obese individuals. The table below shows that the low-fat diet is one of the most few effective ways in losing weight over a period of time, regardless if it's short or long term. To wrap it up,
Given participants religiously follow the training program and the dietary guidelines, both physical and mental health benefits can be retained.
In conclusion, it is highly encouraged, with or without our intervention, underweight, overweight, anyone in a good weight range undertakes physical activity and adheres to standard nutritional guidelines. Our 8-week intervention has the potential to improve overall health, including physical, mental, social, emotional, and cognitive health through the use of group activities and autonomous teaching styles. The intervention aims to improve statistics for individuals and societies seeking help through the medical sector for health issues related to unhealthy weight, which in time will improve health holistically for a wider population, not only young males.